Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going to take a deep dive into something I think we can all relate to,
Yeah.
especially as we get a little older. It's
Yeah.
that, kind of complicated relationship
Right.
we all have with our bodies, right?
Yeah.
You sent us a piece by Balázs Vendler,
Yes.
who's a Hungarian writer, and he really kind of lays himself bare in this piece as he's grappling with, body image as he approaches 50.
It's a powerful piece because it goes beyond just the sort of, like self-acceptance platitudes and really digs into how these past experiences and these societal pressures and even our own vanity can sometimes warp how we see ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this deep dive, I think, will resonate with anyone who's ever looked in the mirror and maybe not liked what they saw.
For sure. Well, and it's interesting, too, because he starts off talking about this feeling of almost not recognizing himself, He's working out, he's active, but he says it's like he's lost in a hall of mirrors.
Yeah.
Never quite sure what he actually looks like.
Yeah.
And it just immediately takes me back to, being 14.
Oh, what's so fascinating here is he's really describing a dissonance.
Right.
That disconnect between how we feel about ourselves on the inside and how we see ourselves in the mirror or how we think we appear to others.
Yeah.
And he gets trapped in this kind of feedback loop of uncertainty.
Right.
Constantly searching for validation but never quite finding it.
Yeah.
And I think that's something a lot of us, especially as we age, can relate to because our bodies change.
Right.
We change.
Right.
And it can be a real struggle to reconcile that with the image we have of ourselves.
Absolutely. And it's not just about wrinkles or gray hairs. It's about those deeper, almost invisible changes that happen over time. And he actually goes on to talk about how these feelings are really rooted in his past. Those formative experiences that really kind of shape how we see ourselves.
Absolutely.
He even mentions some specific instances, like being teased for being too thin as a teenager, then later told he was getting too heavy.
Oh, wow.
It's like these conflicting messages become so internalized that you just have this sense of chaos and confusion about what's real.
Well, and it's not just childhood teasing, right? It's those subtle messages we pick up from our families and from our partners and even just society at large.
Oh, yeah.
Think about all the media we consume.
Right.
Especially now, the images that we see on social media. It's just this constant stream of perfection, right?
Yeah.
Airbrushed and filtered and
of course.
Creating these totally unrealistic expectations that we then internalize. And
yeah, it's like we're all living in this distorted funhouse mirror.
Right.
Constantly comparing ourselves to these images that are unattainable.
Yes.
For most of us.
Totally.
And he brings up the pressure to conform to these ideals, particularly, for men who often feel like they can't even talk about these insecurities.
Yeah. Exactly. There's this expectation for men to just be stoic, right?
Right.
Suck it up. Don't express any vulnerability about their appearance. And that can be so damaging.
Absolutely.
Because then it leads to these feelings of isolation and shame.
Right.
So when Balázs is willing to be open about his own struggles, it's incredibly refreshing.
It is.
And it's a reminder that these insecurities, really, they don't discriminate.
Yeah.
They affect all of us.
And he doesn't shy away from admitting his own vanity, which I found really interesting.
Yeah.
He talks about wanting to look good, to be attractive to others.
Yeah.
He's honest about that desire, but he also acknowledges the shame and discomfort that comes with it. It's like he's wrestling with these competing forces, right? Wanting to embrace his vanity, but also feeling ashamed of it.
Well, and that's such an important point because it really highlights the complexity of body image.
Right.
It's not a simple equation of, I want to look good, therefore I'm vain.
Right.
It's understanding those layers of societal pressure and personal experience and, yes, even vanity that contribute to how we see ourselves. It's recognizing that these feelings are deeply human.
Yeah.
And struggling with them doesn't make you weak or superficial.
No, absolutely. Not at all. And it seems like he's really trying to work through all of this, to find a way to see himself clearly, free from those past shadows and those external pressures.
Right.
He talks about feeling uncertain about compliments he receives at the gym.
Oh, interesting.
Wondering if people are just being polite. It's like he can't even accept that positive feedback because his internal image is so distorted.
Wow. It just shows how deeply ingrained these insecurities can be.
Yeah.
He's literally receiving positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
But he can't internalize it.
Right.
Because those past experiences, those negative messages, they're still echoing in his mind.
Yeah. It's almost like he's built up these defense mechanisms, right? These ways of protecting himself from further hurt.
Right.
He anticipates rejection.
Right.
Even when it's not there.
Yeah.
Which I think is something a lot of us can relate to.
Of course, especially if we've experienced any criticism or body shaming in the past.
For sure.
And that's what makes Balazs's story so relatable. It's not about offering some magical solution or quick fix.
Right.
It's about acknowledging that messy, often painful journey of coming to terms with our bodies.
Yeah.
With all of their, imperfections and complexities.
Right, right.
And what's so powerful about this piece is he doesn't just focus on the external pressures.
Right.
He also digs into that internal struggle, right?
Yeah.
The way that we sometimes sabotage ourselves with that negative self-talk. He talks about this feeling of shame and discomfort with his own body.
Right.
It's like he's battling against himself.
Yeah. There's this real tension there between wanting to accept himself as he is and then feeling like he needs to change,
Totally.
Like he's trapped in this cycle of self-criticism. He even talks about these painful memories from past relationships.
Yeah.
Like hurtful comments that still kind of haunt him.
That's such an important point.
Yeah.
Because those experiences, especially early romantic relationships, can have such a profound impact on our body image.
Right.
And it's not always about overt criticism. Right?
Well, no.
Sometimes it's these subtle cues that we pick up on, unspoken expectations that we internalize.
Right. We absorb those messages and carry them with us for years.
Totally. Yeah.
And it made me think about how we as a society talk about bodies.
Yeah.
Like we're constantly bombarded with these messages about how we should look.
Yes.
What's considered attractive, what's not.
Absolutely. And those messages, whether they come from the media or our families or even our friends, they can be incredibly damaging.
Yeah.
Because they create this narrow definition of beauty.
Yeah.
That's unattainable for most of us.
Right.
And when we internalize those messages, we start to see ourselves through this really distorted lens.
Yeah. And I think that's where his piece really hits home, is that he's not just talking about the external pressures, but that internal struggle.
Totally.
The way those messages become part of our own self-talk.
Absolutely. He's asking us to examine that language we use when we talk about our own bodies.
Right.
And become aware of those negative thoughts and challenge them. And that's not easy.
No, it's not.
It takes conscious effort to unlearn these beliefs.
Yeah, and it's interesting because he actually connects these, these body image struggles to this broader sense of unease with aging.
Yeah.
Like he talks about feeling this pressure to hold on to his youth, to fight against the natural process of getting older.
And that's such a common experience, especially in a culture that really equates youth with beauty and vitality, right?
Right, yes.
I mean, we're constantly bombarded with anti-aging products and procedures and messages that tell us we need to fight this inevitable thing.
Right. It's almost like we're expected to apologize for getting older.
Right.
To try and hide those signs of time.
Absolutely.
And it creates this impossible standard.
Yes.
That can be, so damaging to our self-esteem.
So Balazs challenges us to rethink those assumptions, to see aging not as a decline, but as this process of growth and evolution.
Yeah.
He's asking us to embrace those changes that come with time, to find the beauty in the wrinkles and the gray hairs, to see them as marks of experience and wisdom.
Yeah. It's a really powerful message.
It is,
especially in a world that, often tries to just erase those signs of aging.
Right.
He's asking us to redefine what it means to be attractive.
Yes.
To move beyond those really superficial standards and find beauty in the authenticity of our lived experiences.
I think that's a message that resonates across generations.
Yeah.
The pressures on body image are so intense, especially for young people navigating, social media.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's like we're all caught up in this comparison game,
right?
Constantly evaluating ourselves against these impossible standards.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
It really is.
And Balaz's vulnerability in this piece is just a reminder that we're not alone in these struggles.
Right.
He's inviting us to have more honest conversations about body image, to challenge these societal norms, and to cultivate a more compassionate relationship with ourselves.
And that's ultimately, I think, what I found so powerful about it.
Yeah.
Is that he doesn't offer like this simple solution or this,
this quick fix.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He ends by talking about this longing to see himself clearly as he is now.
Yeah.
Free from those past shadows.
Right.
Like, he's still on this journey, of self-discovery.
Absolutely.
And he's inviting us to kind of join him.
It's a beautiful image.
It is.
This idea of like letting go of those old hurts, those negative messages, and seeing ourselves with these fresh eyes.
Yeah. It's about recognizing our bodies are these vessels that carry us through life.
Yes.
And they deserve our respect and appreciation, regardless of, shape or size or age.
Yeah.
It really is. And as we're wrapping up this deep dive into Balaz's piece, I keep thinking about how, how these struggles with body image can impact our lives in ways we might not even realize.
Oh, for sure. Those negative thoughts and feelings, they can seep into everything, our relationships, the way we approach our work, even our overall well-being. It's like this undercurrent of self-doubt that can just prevent us from living fully and authentically.
Absolutely. And it's not about being, narcissistic or obsessed with our appearance.
Yeah.
But it's recognizing that, how we feel about our bodies can really have this ripple effect on every aspect of our lives.
Well, and what Balaz reminds us is that we don't have to suffer in silence. Right. Talking about these issues, whether it's with a therapist or a trusted friend, or even just acknowledging those feelings to ourselves can be a really powerful first step towards healing.
It's like giving ourselves permission to be human.
Right.
Just acknowledge the complexity of our emotions and experiences. And it's interesting because his piece really resonated with me on a personal level. And I think a lot of us, especially as we get older, start to feel this pressure to almost be invisible,
Interesting.
to kind of fade into the background.
Well, and there is this societal message, especially for women, that as we age, we become less valuable, less desirable. It's like we're supposed to just gracefully step aside and make room for the younger generation.
And that's just not right.
Right.
I mean, we have so much to offer. We have so much wisdom and experience to share.
Yeah.
And Balaz's piece is a reminder that our worth is not tied to our age or our appearance.
Yeah.
It's about who we are on the inside. The values that we embody, the contributions that we make to the world.
He's challenging us to really redefine what it means to age gracefully, to embrace the wisdom and the beauty that comes with time. It's about shifting our focus from external validation to internal acceptance, to recognizing our inherent worth, regardless of what society tells us.
And maybe that's the key takeaway from this whole deep dive, right? It's not about achieving some, unattainable ideal of physical perfection. It's about learning to love and appreciate ourselves, flaws, and recognizing that our bodies are these amazing vessels that carry us through life.
Absolutely. Seeing ourselves with compassion and kindness. Right. Yeah. The same way we'd treat a dear friend, recognizing that our bodies are constantly changing and evolving, and that's okay. That's part of the beauty of being human.
It is. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought.
Yeah.
The next time you look in the mirror, try to see yourself through a lens of kindness and acceptance. Focus on the things you love about yourself, both inside and out.
Yes.
Celebrate the journey you've been on and embrace the person you are becoming.
And remember, you are not alone in this journey.
Right.
We all have our insecurities.
Yeah.
We all have our struggles. The key is to be kind to ourselves,
right?
to challenge those negative thoughts, and to find the joy in a unique, beautiful individuals we are.
That's it for this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deeper.